Okay, so welcome back to this guitar building series where we are building a classical acoustic guitar for the first time in our life. And in this episode there will be a couple of slideshows in the beginning, but then you will get to see the process in movies. And in this episode we are going to have a look at one of my absolute favorite thing to do on a guitar. And that is to build the rosette that sits around a sound hole. In many cheap guitars the rosette is just a sticker. But on real guitars the rosette is made out of wood. And it's such an interesting process to do it. And it's so much work that it's put into this rosette that might look like a decoration, but that actually also acts as a reinforcement of the sound hole that is very fragile. And the start of making a rosette is to buy veneer. Almost everything of these will go into building a rosette. It's crazy, I know. And we are using 3 types of veneer here. And it's mainly because of their aesthetic, because of the color. We are using maple, we are using mahogany, and we are using wenge. And the choice of these 3 is mainly because of the aesthetic, the different colors. And wenge is really difficult to work with. It's very, very fragile, so it's easy to break it. Mahogany is really soft and very easy to work with. And maple is such an amazing wood. It's super straight, it's super smooth right away, and it's so easy to work with. It's such a pleasure. And these 3 plies were then measured and cut up into smaller pieces. So we made these small sheets. And here we have them. That's actually a rosette. All these are going in to make one rosette for one guitar. The first thing to do is to line them up and put glue here on this side and glue them together. You can see here that there are kind of a sandwich and all of these have different patterns. That's why we labeled them as we did here. The next step is to use this plane, and this plane has been with me forever. I've used it from my childhood until now. It's such a pleasure to pick up tools that you have been living with forever. We made this plane super sharp and just planed the sides of these sandwiches. They had to be super straight and super clean, because these veneers are 0.7 millimeters thick. Just about 0.5 millimeter thick. They are so thin. And the reason why we have to make the edge really plain is because that we are going to cut it out into small strips. There you see it. We cut the strips in a bandsaw and we use a scraper to make it clean on this side as well. Here you can see it really clean. The thickness of these strips is 0.7 millimeter. So the strips out of these sandwiches are just as thin as the veneer itself. And I have some here, I think. Yeah, here we have them. These ones are leftovers. They are super thin. Have a look at them. Yeah, beautiful. Love them. It just looks super light. And they are. The next step is to take all of these strips and glue these ones together. Like a sandwich on this side. so they get to be like a small log. And we do that by lining up all the strips and put glue on here. And then just put it together, glue it. And here comes another special tool that we made for this. And it's this clamp, which we are using to glue these strips. And it works like this. When we put glue on these ones, and we put them together, we put them inside the clamp. We put this one down, tighten these, and we put clamps here and let the glue dry for a day. And one day later we just take this apart, and out comes the glued strip. Yeah, here we can see how it's glued together. And here we can see the result of these logs that we just glued. And we also have a bunch of strips that we're going to use for the rosette. And here we can see the logs. They are just so tiny. Have a look at the finger and these logs. I mean, each of these is 1/2 millimeter, 1/2 millimeter in that direction and 1/2 millimeter in that direction. They're just tiny. Then we just chop them up. And we get a whole bunch of them. And we sort them into boxes. Yeah. Here we have them. Try to make photos with without not being blurry, but it's quite difficult. Yeah, I think you get the idea. That one was quite nice, actually. Yeah. Okay, so now it's time to start building the rosette. And the first thing we did was we have this mold, this round plate that we're stuck onto this cork plate so that we can use these needles and attach things. So we start by gluing a couple of strips around here, and after that we start to attach all the small pieces for the rosette. And here you can see the progress of it. And man, we use a lot of glue in this one. So important that the pieces are glued together. And since they are such small of material to glue, we really have to be sure that it's enough with glue so they're attaching to each other. Okay, so let's see how we start this. We come quite far at this point. Attach some glue. And attach some glue to the strip as well. And put this piece into place. And the strip into place. Oh. It's so small. Oh, this doesn't look good. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, we're getting it there. Slowly, slowly. Adjusting a little bit. And the first one in this layer is in place, finally. Okay. Let's just keep on going, doing the same thing over and over again. Put some glue. Yeah, lots of glue there. We're dripping it into water to make it a little bit more loose. And we put it in place and give it a squeeze so that it's a perfect position. And it's time for the next needle. And we just keep on going. There are plenty of them left. This is such a slow process. You really have to have a meditative kind of approach to this one. You can't stress it. When it comes so far, you don't want to make a mistake. So just take it slow and easy. Breathe and enjoy the process. So this is how it's done. Put some glue into here. Take this small piece. Then we just put it into place and give it a good push. And then a needle to attach it so it won't go anywhere. When I'm watching this process now, I just can feel my heart rate going down. I feel the stress is just going away. And it's just, yeah, it's like meditation. I get a good feeling when watching this again here, and I hope you can experience this yourself one day. And finishing this rosette took me about a couple of weeks, actually. And it's so difficult to understand how luthiers today still can make this process going. And just knowing how time-consuming this process is of making a real rosette. Then you start getting an idea why handmade guitars are so expensive. I mean, I couldn't charge for a couple of weeks building a rosette. That would be ridiculous. And a professional luthier does this a lot faster. But still, there is so much work. It's so impressive when you think about the amount of work a professional luthier put into each guitar. Wow. When gluing this, I am using this kind of glue, which is the most common glue in Sweden doing woodwork. It's white glue, and the problem with white glue in guitar building is that it actually never gets really hard. Even if left it to dry overnight or a week or two, it's still a little bit soft compared to Titebond that is used very much in guitar building. It's very similar to the white glue, but it has the effect that it gets super strong. We are using this white glue in the rosette for two reasons. One is that I know exactly how white glue behaves. So I can feel immediately how far in the drying process it is. And what's a benefit in this process is that it dissolves in water. So when dripping each small piece in water, it just dissolves the glue a little bit, so it gets a little bit more flexible and has the room to adjust to the rosette in its right place. Otherwise, I prefer Titebond for most parts on this guitar build. I'm so happy I tried this. This is quite unusual in Sweden, but I tried it and I fell in love immediately. So I can't imagine why we are still using white glue in Sweden and not Titebond. It's amazing. Okay, here's the rosette is glued and ready, and we just take away the rest of the glues on the sides with a sharp knife. So now it's time to take the rosette down to its thickness. And we start by using a small plane to take off the first little piece of the rosette very, very carefully. And this plane is super sharp, and that's so important. During the whole process, you need to have super sharp tools, otherwise it will just get destroyed. You pull it by a kind of 45 degree, so you don't scrape it, you just cut the wood. You just don't want to scrape it, you cut the wood. Next thing is to use the scraper, which is basically just a metal plate, stainless steel plate, that is sharpened in a specific way, so it actually has a really, really sharp and precise edge. When scraping it, it's like using a plane. The scraper is such a good tool for many processes in the guitar building. I just love using it. It's like when you just have been sharpening it, it's like cutting in butter. It's just such a joy using it. And the surface you get with a scraper is just smooth. Not like when you're using a sandpaper, of course that also gets smooth, but it still have some texture. But when you're using a scraper, it's just getting super clean. So much better than sandpaper. But when doing this process, I started to think, and there was a question popping up in my head. Watch this. Ja, men alltså. Jag kom hit i morse och skulle bygga på gitarren och hade en idé om vad jag skulle hinna med. Och det första momentet var att slipa ner rosetten här som kommer sitta runt ljudhålet till 2 mm tjocklek. Och jag tänkte att ja, men det gör den första timmen och sen kan jag gå vidare på locket. Men nu har det gått hela dagen. Hela dagen har gått, men nu är rosetten klar och den är 2 mm tjock. Det som är fascinerande med rosetter till klassiska gitarrer är ju hur de är uppbyggda. Kan jag kolla på den? Zooma in här lite. Här har vi den. Och det är ju en mosaik av en massa små delar. Och nu har jag en liten fundering. Hur många bitar består en rosett av egentligen? Och ja, det vore kul att höra vad ni tror. Jag ska börja räkna de här, men under tiden kan väl ni skriva här nedanför hur många bitar ni tror att det är, så kommer kanske den som prickar rätt vinna någonting spännande. Så skriv här nere. Hur många bitar är rosetten uppbyggd av? Dagens fråga. Yes, that's today's question. How many pieces are the rosette built out of? Please leave your comments here, and the one who gets closest will win a beautiful prize. So yeah, give me your best shot and write in the comments. Please also write if you have any other ideas, questions, or anything about this build so far. And this is such a passion project for me, so I will be continuing this, and we have a lot more to show at this point. And if you like this, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. And I would love to see you in the next episode. So until then, take care, relax, breathe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Ciao!